Hey guys, welcome to PLEXYSTARS, take number 2. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had earlier. Um, welcome. Uh, I'm Blake. We have Tanya and Dustin, and tonight we have a very special guest with us tonight. So Tanya and Dustin, how you guys doing tonight?
I'm good.
Uh,
How are you?
yeah, I'm fantastic. The other one that we started a minute ago was a lot more fun. It was a lot more exciting, coming into that call.
Sorry.
Well, whatever. Can people see us now?
Yes, we have a viewer. We have one viewer, so
Okay.
it's working. It's
Woo!
working.
All right.
Anyway, tonight we have what I call, who I call, sorry, not what, it's a person. She's a person, not a,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm like completely like yes. Yes. Anyway, Kim Phillips is on tonight, everybody.
Yay! She's
Woo-hoo.
the block queen.
She is
Yeah,
say that correctly, the block queen.
The block
Okay, because I thought I
queen.
heard you say black queen. I was like
Oh yeah, let's get that straight.
I'm like, okay, maybe some of our viewers may not like that.
Well,
So
and for the viewers that don't know what block is, it's a product that Plexus has
that
that's
Kim's gonna
something
talk about later
she knows
tonight.
all about. Yep,
I'm super excited to hear about this.
me too.
I mean, you kept saying about that. So yes, I am going to show Kim. And Kim, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yay! There you there?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yay!
you.
Okay, yay.
Very
Boom!
good. Look how
Hi.
beautiful you look.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much for having me on. I'm super excited.
So are
Absolutely.
we. So are we. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Great,
Fantastic.
great.
Fantastic. So, Dustin, before we get started with diving into Kim's life, can you tell can you tell us what that disclaimer is, please?
Yes, no problem. The opportunity of a lifetime is brought to you by independent Plexus ambassadors. It is not sponsored by Plexus Worldwide. At Plexus Worldwide, we want you to know that the results you're about to hear may vary from person to person, and we do not claim to cure, treat, or prevent any disease.
Amen.
Yes.
And that is awesome stuff.
That is compliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it because we got a late start, and I want to hear everything that Kim has to say tonight. So Kim, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Plexus?
Okay, great. I'm first and foremost wife of almost 9 years, mom to two little kids, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. Um, I am also a certified sports nutrition coach, a yoga instructor, bar instructor, and I also teach Pilates and Pyo. So
Wow.
I stay super, super busy between gym and home and Plexus business. So between all of those three things is kind of where I spend my time. I love it. I feel super blessed and super grateful that all of these things have come together in my life. I always desired to be a stay-at-home mom. I just didn't think it was possible. And then various things happened in my life that just made it happen for me. And so now that Plexus is in my life, I have a way to contribute to my family financially, but then also contribute to what my husband and I have always desired in putting our kids above all else. So it's just a super great. I'm super grateful for the opportunity. So I'm going to be completely honest. A lot of looking back on my Plexus journey and my first impressions with it, I kind of now cringe. But I'm kind of an open book, somewhat to a fault. So I'm just going to get right into it. When I very first heard of Plexus, it was seeing it on different trade sites and the before and afters, and I just thought this is the latest scheme that people were just
Mhm.
crazy. In fact, I remember being at one of my good friend's house for a dinner party, and we were like, "What is this Plexus stuff? This is insane, and these people need to stop." And just we had no idea what it was. And so now I wish I could invite all of those women back to that dinner and be like, "Let me tell you what it is for real."
Go get
Um,
him. Go get him.
well, unfortunately, they were all friends of my friends, so I don't even
Oh.
know how to find them anymore. But anyway, so that was my very first impression. But then I saw people that I knew personally starting to post things, and things were kind of catching my eye. And then, we always talk about the phases of plexus. So I went from intrigue to annoyance, and then to more annoyance. And then the thing that caught my eye, actually, because I was like, really, the energy and stuff, like, it's just like a placebo effect. The thing that actually caught my eye was the body cream. And I was looking for stretch marks. And so I was like, okay, hold up, sign me up. I want to see if this stuff is for real. So then I tried a 3-day trial pack because I figured if it was supposed to be so good for you, it probably tastes disgusting. And I'm a super, super picky eater. So I was like, I'll do a 3-day trial pack. There's no way I'm going to like it. Well, I loved it, and I wanted more. But I actually waited a couple months until I could afford to just jump right in. So got started, and actually I skipped one of my other phases. My other phase was thinking that this was the cheater way to lose weight. And so I was determined. I was already on a weight loss journey myself. And so I was determined to prove all the Plexus people wrong, and you can lose weight just by diet and exercise. So I became obsessive over calorie counting. I was teaching 10 to 11 classes a week, basically running my body to the ground without even realizing it. And so I just thought Plexus was the cheater way. Well, I kind of came to a point, which I'll get to in a minute, kind of started for 2 different reasons. And so even whenever I started taking it, I didn't tell anybody. I told my husband that I was taking it, and then that was it, because I still thought I was cheating the system. I was like, I'm taking something that's going to help me lose weight, but I'm a fitness instructor. I shouldn't be telling people something.
Your little secret.
Yes, and so I even had one of my very best friends who moved out of state. She was commenting on my weight loss, and I was like, oh, thanks. And I never told her what I was doing. She ended up signing up under my sponsor to be my sponsors level 1 as well. And so that's kind of what kickstarted me to be like, all right, enough is enough. I need to tell people what the heck I'm doing. So that's kind of like my first impressions of Plexus and how I kind of got into it.
How much weight do you have to lose, or what was your goal?
I had lost my original goal was about 20 pounds.
Okay.
I had lost about 15 on my own. So when I started Plexus, I was hoping that maybe I could lose an extra 5 pounds just to get to the magical number I had set in my mind.
Right.
But what I later ended up losing, largely in part to block, which I'll talk about soon, is over 10 pounds. And really the mind-blowing thing is I lost 37.5 inches all over.
Wow.
Which is the height of my 3-year-old right now. So when you put that into context, it's mind-blowing.
That is crazy, but that's how it works.
Exactly. So it was super, super exciting to me. So the 2 reasons I got into Plexus, it was I had 2 things going on. One, I was on that weight loss journey. And like I said, I lost 15 pounds, so I was feeling pretty good. But I still had what I call my baby leftovers in the midsection. And I had personal trainers and friends at the gym saying, that's just never going to go away. There's nothing you can do. You can maybe try a wrap, or you could try some kind of surgery, but it's just going to stay there. So that was super disheartening. So I still didn't even think that Plexus would help that. But I just wanted to get to my magical number. And then on the other side of things, I had really low blood pressure and low blood sugar. And so it sounds pretty minuscule, but really what that equaled to me every single day was headaches and fatigue and dizziness. I was always seeing stars. My baby was about 1.5 at the time. So every time I would go put him down in his crib, I would stand up and I would have to hold on to the edges of his crib because I was getting that dizzy. And that was just the norm for me. I was putting him down for a nap, and then my daughter was about 5 at the time. And so I would just tell her to kind of fend for herself. I had to take a nap if I was going to be any kind of productive mother by the end of the day. And so it really killed me that I got to that point because, first of all, that was my one-on-one time that I had with her.
Right.
And so I wasn't getting that one-on-one time with her. And then also that's honestly kind of unsafe to be like, hey, 5-year-old, go chill out for an hour by yourself. And so that whole phase of my life right before Plexus, honestly, I just felt like a failure in every angle. I felt like a failure in my weight loss because I was counting calories like crazy. I was following a calorie counter that was telling me to keep cutting calories, cutting calories. Now I know how unhealthy that was and why that didn't work. So I was doing what that told me, and my scale wouldn't move to the decimal point. For months at a time, every single morning I would step on the scale, it wouldn't move. And so I would start off my day feeling like a failure and just beating myself up mentally. So then I have this going on this side of my mind with I can't lose weight, I'm a failure, I can't fit into my clothes, I've lost my cuteness, I'm done.
Right. No.
But
But yeah, I know.
and then on this side of things, I have the failure of you're not being a good enough mom, you're not doing enough for your kids, you're not doing enough for your husband, you're not keeping up with what you need to do. And I just felt like I was in this endless cycle of failure. And I just thought, like, there's got to be more to life than just waking up and counting down to nap time.
Right.
So when I started Plexus, I was desperate. I wanted a change in energy, and I wanted to see if it really would help push me past my plateaus. By day 3, I no longer needed my daily nap. And
By day 3.
By day 3.
Yep.
By probably about 2 weeks, I remember I was in bridge pose in one of my yoga classes, and I was running my hands down my hips to tell my classes where to hold their hips during bridge. And I was like, oh, my hips are getting smaller.
Where are they?
Yeah, exactly. And I remember texting my sponsor probably about a month in, and I was like, I'm really mad at you because my favorite pair of yoga pants no longer fit.
Oh, that's one of the plexus problems, right?
Exactly. No, I was actually really super excited about that. So, I mean, I had results pretty quickly, and I'm about 20 months into it now, and life is just completely different. I don't feel like a failure anymore, and I feel better equipped. And I've always kind of told moms, invest in yourself and take care of yourself first, but I wasn't listening to my own advice for so long. And now I feel like I can say that with a little more intentionality and with more passion that we need to be filling ourselves first, because if we are running on an empty cup, then we have nothing to give to our family. And so it just sounds so silly. Take a drink that stabilizes your blood sugar. But when you realize how much that truly, truly affects, it's completely life-changing.
A lot of people don't know that. They don't understand that your blood sugars directly affect everything. And a lot of people think their blood sugars are fine when they're really not. And one of the things that our viewers need to know, maybe a lot of them already know this because they know you or whatever, but for those who don't, is you really became well-known, a PLEXYSTAR, so to speak, with Plexus, when you put out a video about the product Block. And what Block does and how it does it and stuff. And I remember watching that video, and of course you were sitting right exactly where you are right now. So that was cool. But
was she wearing the exact same outfit?
No.
I think so.
I don't wear the same outfit twice in a year.
She had pants on. She had pants on, Blakester, and Dust in the Wind.
Well,
yeah, no, I actually went back and looked what dress I was wearing during that video to make sure that I didn't wear the same outfit.
To make sure you didn't wear the same thing tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
I love you. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
so did I.
Yeah, Blake did too. He's got his, headband, and he's got his Richard Simmons gear on.
Nice. Yeah, so Block came into the picture whenever I was still. So I signed up in June of 2014. And I signed up just as a wholesale buyer, and I told my sponsor I do not want to sell. I had done network marketing before and failed miserably. I had one party the entire time, and it had one person attend. So that pretty much wrapped up how that went. So, yeah. So I told her that I'm not interested in this at all. So I just want my stuff for cheap because I'm a bargain shopper. So I sat on the sidelines for about 6 months, and I just want to say really quickly, if you're watching this and you're sitting on the sidelines, or if you're maybe getting started, just jump in. My biggest regret is sitting on the sidelines for 6 months, not only because my business would be further along than it is now, but I saw so many people just in random conversations, especially at the gym, that I could have helped, sooner, and then I didn't just because I was scared. So that's my little side note. So anyway, so in that 6 months, and I was just kind of sitting on the sidelines, kind of watching my sponsor added me to her team page just because she had belief in me when I didn't. The block was announced, and it said a carb and sugar blocker, and I was like, sign me up. This is what I do. Especially at that point in life, I was not the healthiest of eaters. I'm a really, really picky eater, but even still, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of girl. I eat a couple of veggies now, but I still really don't like fruit. So I tell people what they're supposed to eat, but I don't always follow my own rules. So a carb and sugar blocker was exactly what I needed.
You're like, heck yes.
Yes. So, so that was introduced, and I bought it in November. And honestly, because all I had ever tried before as far as weight loss goes, I would lose for a bit, and then it would come back, and I would kind of go back and forth. I just figured Plexus was going to be short term, and I was just so afraid that the weight loss that I had gotten at that point, or till that point, was just going to come back. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start on this block thing, and it's going to help me maintain the weight loss that I've already had. By that point, I think pounds-wise, I had lost maybe 3 or so on Plexus. I kind of stopped paying attention to pounds as much once I realized that inches is where it was at. So I got on block thinking it was going to maintain. And honestly, I guess it was kind of dumb luck, but I just assumed since everything else with Plexus you're supposed to take consistently, I started taking block consistently every time I ate. Also because every time I ate had some kind of carb in it. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is going to be my best friend. So I was taking it, and within the first week, I could tell changes in my eating habits. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I would have already taught 1 or 2 classes at the gym, depending on the day, and I still wouldn't be hungry. Before, I would be starving because, I'd already burned so much energy. And so I was having to remind myself to eat lunch. At dinner, I couldn't finish my plate. And so I could just tell my appetite had changed. Well, It wasn't until Christmas. So I started it like early November. So then Christmas, went home to my mom's house. And usually at Christmas, she makes a pumpkin pie for the family, which is like 8 to 10 of us. And then she makes pumpkin pie just for me, and nobody touches it because that's mine. I eat the whole thing.
Don't touch it.
No. So I remember being at her house and just going towards it and just being like, oh, I'll get a piece later, Never touched it. So then I came home and I always told my mom, hey, I made it home, we're fine, whatever. And she was like, Kimberly, you didn't even touch the pumpkin pie. That block thing you're taking must be working. And it was like, that was my aha moment of, you are so right. So then from then on, I just started to see some more of the changes, and then the inches just started coming off. My baby leftovers that several people told me would never go away were gone. I was starting to get better muscle tone because I was just losing fat all over, in my arms, in my neck, in my abs. And so I fell in love with blocks. And the more I got into my business and the more I saw other people posting about different products, I always saw it promoted as a cheat meal supplement. And it would drive me crazy for 2 reasons. One, I feel like it wasn't giving the credit it was due, and people weren't able to see the power that it could have if they weren't taking it consistently. And
right.
2, kind of from like the nutrition side of things, since that's also part of my interest in what I do, I feel like it's really a fine line to promote a product as a cheat meal supplement, because already on a cheat meal, people tend to make it a cheat feast, or in my nutrition world, they call it like a Saturday. Usually Saturday is your cheat meal. Well, then you'll go crazy and eat everything in sight on a Saturday because it's your cheat day and you can. So then if you have a cheat meal supplement on top of that, people will tend to overindulge and, go back on everything that they've
defeat the whole purpose of the product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it would kind of drive me crazy, because people weren't giving it the credit it needed, and using it as a cheat meal supplement could almost do you more harm than good. And so with my friends that knew me personally and knew what I took on my regimen, which for the first probably 6 to 9 months of when I was on Plexus, once block was introduced, October of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I took was Swim and Block. I started on Swim and Boost, but I didn't really love Boost very much because I still have my low blood sugar issue with Boost being a thermogenic. It kind of made me crash a lot. Thermogenics tend to do that with blood sugar issues. So I didn't really love it, and so that's another reason why I decided to switch over to Block. So anyway, so the people that knew what my regimen was and knew that I was obsessive over Block, I would joke with them and say that I was like, I'm going to make myself the unofficial spokesperson for Block because I love it so much and people need to know how amazing it is. And so it just kind of makes me laugh that people really are calling me the Block Queen now. And that
you're the official PLEXYSTAR Block Queen. So
she's compliant.
She's compliant. We did that.
Yeah, and so I knew I loved it, but a lot of what I do and the drive behind the research that I do is always figuring out why. Why does this work? Why does this product work? Why does this ingredient work? Why am I feeling so great? So I started to research Block a little bit more, and then the more and more I found out, it was just mind-blowing to me. I also like to compare against different products just to see how ours holds up, and 99 times out of 100, ours is better. And so once I started comparing our carb blockers to several others on the market, I mean, it was just a phenomenal product and beat everybody else, hands down. So then I decided to just put the video out there. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it's been awesome to hear from people and see people take it more consistently and have these amazing results and hit past plateaus, and it's been really exciting.
Well, and that, you know what you just said is exactly what happened to Richard Chamberlain. You know, he had a really great success story originally, and then he had some struggles. And when they introduced Block, he got right on Block, and it made a massive difference in his continued weight loss to where he is today.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's one of the first people we had on PLEXYSTARS, and of course he has an unbelievable story. Right. But yeah, that's the Block was the main. But the things that you said on your video for me that made a difference were you really described the white bean extract and what that does. And what I decided to do after watching your video, because I was just messing around with Block. Most people just mess around with it, and if they're lucky, they'll remember to take it the 2, or 30 minutes before their meal. And then if they don't take it 30 minutes before their meal, they're like, forget it. Yeah, like, well, it's not going to work anyway.
Guilty.
No,
yeah. So I was talking to Dustin and Blake this morning, and I was like, you know what? I've been taking it with every, 3 times a day. And sometimes right before a meal, but I've just been taking it consistently to keep it in my body. And it is making a huge difference in several different things. It's still helping my blood sugars, but I feel it absorbing like that, so that when, my nighttime meal usually consists of more stuff, but because it's in someone's system all the time, I mean, that's how I've been using it. That's what I learned from your video.
Yeah, exactly. And, one of the questions, my most common questions I get is, do I take it before my healthier meals? And I still do, for that very reason that you said. If you keep it consistent, then it's going to keep your appetite in check throughout the day and, throughout the course of several days. But then also with the ground seaweed being a fat burner, of course I want a fat burner even if I'm eating a salad. Right. So that's why I take it no matter what I'm eating. I have actually a really cute little pill case that I keep in my purse.
Yeah, it's in my purse. It's in my purse, a bottle of Block. And then I'm like handing it out to everyone, and I'm like, get your own.
Exactly. Yeah, I teach 2 classes right now that are at noon. So I come home from the gym and eat lunch after those classes. So I have it in my purse. So I take it as soon as I get in the car. And then by the time I drive home, come home and fix my lunch, it's about the 30-minute window. But I just do everything I can to keep it super consistent because that's key.
That's awesome. What was the other thing you said on your video? You said something else about an ingredient. I can't remember what it was.
The NC2, that's the brown seaweed.
Yes. Tell us
that.
That's
the one. So the white kidney bean is going to block against the carbs. So if you look at other carb blockers out there, a lot of them are going to have the white kidney bean. But the NC2 is what makes ours the game changer, because this one works against the sugars. And so this is why block is really good for diabetics. It helps lower glycemic index. It keeps their blood sugar in control. And the great thing is, people always question the effectiveness of our products and if they really are legit. Well, NC2 actually has a website that they've shown all of their research and their results from. You can go to that website and see just the information on NC2 and know that it's legit.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly. So those two working together is what makes it a game changer and makes it really special.
Awesome.
And also, the NC2 is brown seaweed, like I said before, and so it has a naturally occurring source of iodine. So that's really good for people with thyroid issues, because the thyroid needs iodine to produce hormones. So people that don't have a thyroid, or if they have a low functioning thyroid, one, they tend to kind of struggle with weight loss. So of course, block and all of its benefits are going to help with that. But then two, you have the benefit of the actual iodine for their thyroid, or their lack thereof.
Okay, what you just said is huge. I don't know, did you say that in your video? I don't remember that.
I did.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
That is a big, big deal, because I don't remember referring anyone to block for thyroid issues, and now I'm going to. That is huge.
The only thing that I tell people with thyroid issues is to start off with, well, everybody should start off pretty slowly on block, just to let your body adjust. Sometimes that brown seaweed expanding can just kind of throw your system for a loop a little bit.
Yeah. I had one customer throw up, like,
oh gosh,
like she took 2 of them, and then it just like expanded her stomach or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, well, and if you don't stop yourself from, like, you have to know when you're full, and if you overeat, then you're just going to feel way too full.
Right.
And so people that have thyroid issues, I just tell them to start really slowly, just to make sure that it's going to interact positively rather than in a bad way, which most, I haven't had any feedback that have reacted in a negative way, but we always want to err on the side of caution. But that does remind me of another tip that I tell people in general, but especially with block, is I call it my 80% rule. So you want to stop eating when you feel about 80% full. So that may mean not finishing your whole plate, or before you go back for seconds, or whatever it might be. You want to stop when you're 80% full, because it takes about 15 minutes for your stomach to communicate with your brain that you're full. So in that, past that 80% window, that's when a lot of people are overeating, and then that's therefore causing weight gain and all sorts of other issues. So
yeah, that's Blake and Dustin here, guilty.
Yeah.
Fat people, like really fat people like me, and I can say that because,
I'm okay with that.
We don't know that 80% rule. But
yeah, so I have to remind myself, am I eating this because it's good, or am I eating it because I'm still hungry?
Right, just because it's
good.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a question from the YouTube viewers.
Okay.
Yay.
They want to know, do you take the 2 block each meal? So you're taking 2 3 times a day, or 1 3 times a day, and how long before you take it, before you eat?
How long before I eat is the last part of that question?
Yeah, like, are you taking 2 block 3 times a day, so 6 a day, and then is it 30 minutes before each meal, or like is it 1 3 times a day?
Okay, so the full dose is actually 4 a day, so 6 a day is not recommended. I actually just take, yeah, I take 1 before lunch and 1 before dinner, because remember, whenever I started on block, I thought I was going to do it more for maintenance. So when I saw that the full dose was 2 and 2, I didn't really think that I needed that necessarily. And since that just worked well for me, especially now because I am in a maintenance phase for sure, I still just take 1 and 1. Now, if you are looking to lose a significant amount, or maybe to kind of speed up the process, then you could do 2 and 2. But I personally still do 1 and 1.
Okay.
Well, I'm the rule breaker, and so we'll just leave how many I take alone.
As long as it's not 6.
No, well, 3 for sure. I take 1 3 times a day, and then
Well, and that's what a
sometimes,
lot of people do as well.
yeah. So I take 1 3 times a day, and sometimes, depending upon what kind of meal that I'm going to have or something, I'll take 2 right before it. But mostly, it's just 3 a day
Yeah.
for
And
me.
I do try to stay consistent with that 30-minute window. The reason you want to have that 30-minute window is for 2 reasons. First, you want to give that digestive enzyme time to be paralyzed by the white kidney beans. And then also you want to give some time for the brown seaweed to start to activate and expand in your stomach. Um, so I try to stay consistent, but even if for whatever reason I forget, um, and I take it in a shorter amount of time, even if it's like right when I'm sitting down at the table to eat, I'll take it. So I feel like something's better than nothing.
As long as it's in there, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll sit there, and wait. Time in 10 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes I will. I'll just sit there and watch my food and give it
It's
like the
getting
full.
cold, but oh well, I got that
Yeah.
pot working.
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad I'm not alone on that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that a lot of people ask is how long it stays in your system. And so it stays active for about 2 hours. So, yeah, that's just good to know.
And then
Especially like,
BioCleanse comes along.
exactly. Yeah. So I tell
You
people,
said
if you're going to go
2
on
hours or a few hours?
2
2.
hours.
2, okay.
So basically, it's actively working. So if you're at a party, you can eat for 2 hours.
Hypothetically, yes.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying.
Well, that was
Yeah.
the Super Bowl last weekend.
You got a 2-hour time limit, people, so put it in, stuff it down.
Yeah, well, and some people will say, if I go out to eat and it takes more than the 30 minutes, have I wasted it? No. You can take it on the way to your restaurant. It takes a while to get your food, you'll still be fine.
Well, and I'm taking it when I'm not eating. I mean, I'm taking it 3 times a day, like just, yeah, just to keep it in my system.
Yeah,
For my blood sugars and those other issues that you talked about, those other things.
right. And another thing that I just recently discovered, I have my sister-in-law taking it, and she's just taking blocks. And she noticed that when she takes it at lunch, it's helping her to not hit her 3 o'clock crash that she normally does. And so I
Mm,
feel like that's kind of a two-part thing as well. Part of that is, if we tend to eat a heavier lunch full of carbs, then of course that's going to make our tummies full and we're going to get tired mid-afternoon. But also knowing about blood sugar regulation, if you're eating a food that's going to spike your blood pressure or spike your blood sugar and then make it drop around 3, then that's again where that fatigue comes in. So she has kind of 2 things going for her as far as not absorbing as many carbs, so she's not getting that lethargy later in the afternoon. And she says that she can just tell like she has better energy, she feels better. And so I think that goes back to blood sugar stabilization. So I thought that was really cool when she enlightened me to that. And that's another
yeah,
thing that we can talk about, that block can be used on its own and it can still be effective. And so that's a perfect example of that.
that's really cool because not a lot of people just, start with block. Like you don't know what it does. But now that I think about it, I don't get that after you eat, like, oh, I need to take a nap thing. I don't ever
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's kind of
nice.
like the whole tryptophan thing at Thanksgiving. People
Mm-hmm.
think that the tryptophan in the turkey makes you sleepy. There's actually more tryptophan content in a banana than in like a gram of turkey. So
Right.
maybe what's making us sleepy after Thanksgiving is,
It's
3,000 carbs we ate.
yes,
No
it's
kidding.
5,000
So,
calories.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So do we have any more questions, Dustin?
Um, no, we're good. That was like the 2 main questions.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how's your business going? Give it while we wrap this up. Give us 2 tips, like your number 1 product or Plexus tip, and your number 2 your
Our
business
number 1
tip.
product is block.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, someone who's starting, like you said a minute ago, anybody who's looking at, starting, don't wait, and that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, and I do want to share one other story with you that's just the thing that started to really build belief for me with the business side of things is when I started to finally tell people about what I was doing, honestly, the reason I got started was I was starting to feel really convicted that I knew the answers to so many people's problems, and I wasn't sharing. So that was kind of what started to fuel me. But even with that, I thought, I'm going to put myself out there, and my goal is to get my product cost covered because I already love the product. If I can be taking them for essentially free, then I will be sitting pretty and life will be good. I didn't understand how amazing our comp plan was and how easy that was going to be able to get product cost covered. So within like 2 weeks of starting to share things, I had my product cost covered.
It's paid for.
Yeah. And so by the end of the month, I had, I don't know if we're able to say how many dollars. Well, I'll just say this. January of 2015 is whenever I got started working the business. And that month, we were being told from my husband's job that he was in that he was going to be getting this bonus and whatever. It had been promised to us for months and months and months, and they kept promising it was going to be here by the end of January. So we had kind of planned around this number that we were expecting our family to get as a bonus. Well, we found out probably like the last week of January that it actually was the last day of January. I remember the day vividly now. That we weren't going to get it after all. The company changed the way that they were going to do things and no more bonus. So we were devastated. Yeah, we were devastated, and that was a blow. But then financials were posted the next day or 2 days later, and the amount that I was getting paid for my January commission was exactly what we were expecting the bonus to be.
Oh my God.
So
that's a God thing.
Yes, it was such a huge blessing, and hopefully my husband doesn't get embarrassed about telling this next part. So we were sitting down at our kitchen table, and he's an accountant, he's a tax guy, and he's all about the numbers, and he's our budgeter. And so we were sitting down, and I told him, like, okay, this is like real money we're making, and this is huge. Like, this has already filled the gap that that we needed, that we didn't even know we were going to need. And so he just looked at me and he said, with tears, or he said, if you could double that income, that could be life-changing money for us.
Oh my God.
I was like, okay. And so I was like, maybe by this summer I'll be able to double it. And fast forward 1 month, I did the math and saw financials posted, and I remember sitting him down at the kitchen table again and telling him, like, I just doubled last month's salary. And he had tears in his eyes, and he said, this is life-changing. And, gosh, now I'm going to try thinking about it. But
no, you already got me crying, so you might as well just keep going.
He's done so much for us as, allowing me to stay at home with our kids. And we got married super young. We were both still in college. I was 20, he was 21. 6 months later, we got pregnant with our baby, with our firstborn. Anyway, so he's sacrificed so much for our family and done so much as far as his career goals have been kind of slowed down because he puts family above all else. So the fact that I now have a way to contribute and all the pressure isn't on him anymore is huge for our family. And it just makes me feel so proud that I can do that for him. And we now get to dream and dream big. When I get he's working on a CPA exam. So whenever I hit senior goals, my bonus is going to him to pay for the next part of his CPA exams because we get paid.
Yay!
That's awesome.
So it's just so cool that we can now work together to reach our dreams and reach our goals. And hopefully as I grow, he doesn't have to put himself on the back burner as much, and he can now go and reach his goals and his dreams and do what he wants to do. So all of that just really builds belief in this company for me, and in network marketing in general. Like, it gives us the chance to dream and plan and do things that we never thought we'd be able to do before. So that kind of
especially with Plexus. It's not every company, it's Plexus.
Well,
yeah.
Exactly. I actually did a training call for my upline on our compensation plan specifically, and why we are not a pyramid scheme, and why different MLMs can be considered one, or why they kind of get that reputation of being. And then there's direct lines that you can tie to show how our business model like debunks all of those claims.
Right.
And how we do it the right way. So maybe that could be another thing that I do for health sometime is going over that.
Yeah, do that one. Go debunk the pyramid idea.
Yeah.
That'd be a great video.
Yeah. So anyways, that's just what I'm so grateful for with this company, with this company specifically. And so that kind of goes back to your question of what are my tips is, like I said before, like just do it. Find whatever your goal is. If your goal is $500 a month for your family, and if that's going to be huge, then just do it. You're helping people in the process, and you're helping your family, and it's so attainable with this company. And I guess the other business tip that I could give is always be educating yourself and finding out the why. I've seen a big shift in my business once I've done that. I was just kind of doing like the general, like, you need to get healthy and you need to take Plexus, and just, it's great to educate people on the, general idea of getting themselves better. But once I started talking about specific things, for example, blocks, I was talking about, how you can lose weight, cut carbs, that's the stuff that people identified with. Whenever I find out a certain ingredient in our product that can help a certain ailment, and then I kind of highlight that, that's when people identify with that more, so therefore they're more willing to listen to you. But then also that gives you as the ambassador the chance to connect to that person on a relationship level. So you're no longer just selling a product, you're helping solve a problem, and you actually have a plan of action to get there,
Exactly.
So I guess you could say that would be my advice, is just always be learning, always be educating yourself, and
do it.
And just do it. And the more you educate yourself, the more you're going to be fired up about our product. Like my latest obsession is about the form of B12 in our vitamins. And so like it just, you find better ways to be able to help people and to educate them, but then you just realize more and more like how awesome Plexus is. Like we really did get it right. Our products really are superior. They really are one of a kind.
The best.
It's like a positive snowball effect. The more you educate yourself, the more your passion's going to grow for helping people and for the company.
Absolutely.
It's exactly true.
Wow. Well, this has been awesome.
Meet fun people along the way.
Yes.
This has been one of my favorite calls.
Oh, thank you.
Just to sit back and just listen, absorb all the knowledge that you shared this evening was just amazing. Thank you.
I was taking notes.
You were taking notes? Awesome.
Dustin always takes the notes for us, and then we steal them.
He would rather take notes than wear pants on a call. Just saying.
Yeah. How about that?
I'm really interested in trying this block 1 time, 3 times a day. I'm going to try
Dustin,
this.
start doing that for the next 30 days with what you're already doing and see what happens.
I ran a block challenge at the holidays. We ran it between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Or it ended up being Thanksgiving, like right after New Year's. It was 30 days. And, we were just trying to show people that the holidays doesn't have to be a time of year where you gain 10 pounds. You could actually lose.
I lost.
And it was really exciting to see the changes people had just in that 30 days. We told them be consistent. We showed them how to take it. We went over troubleshooting, and it was awesome. I mean, even like 2 weeks in, we had people losing inches and pounds, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So, so for ambassadors that are watching this, consider doing a block challenge because they're really successful. And even if you're a customer or an ambassador watching this, just give yourself a personal challenge. Just set an alarm if you have to, and just start to take it consistently.
Or even just take it with your other stuff. You know what I mean? Like one in the morning and one at night. Just include it with your other stuff, and then you won't have to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. Next week, if you're available, go ahead and tune in next week, Kim. We have Scott Hammonds on next week.
Woo!
Oh, fun!
Exciting.
So it's our first guy since what? James, I believe.
James.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be fun. Tonight was amazing. Just I'm left without words because it's just so much information
What?
being absorbed.
You?
That and I'm like the Walking Dead right now. I'm so tired.
Blakster's been ramping up his workouts and doing some pretty serious stuff, so he's wasted tonight.
Wasted,
Like,
wasted on water.
Wasted.
Look into myofascial release.
Do what?
Fast relief.
Myofascial release. It will change your life.
I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, I have a YouTube video on it.
Of course you do.
Send it on over.
It's actually really like low budget. I did it for like a back to school challenge that we were doing. This is way before I made any other videos. So I threw it up on YouTube just because it was easier to load to Facebook. And it's a little bit goofy. Like my camera falls in the middle. It's ghetto. But
We don't mind ghetto. We're all ghetto.
Yeah, see, now I'm like totally on a different side. You tapped into my fitness world now. But so the fascial tissue is what connects your bone to your muscle. So I don't know how often you cook, but on a chicken, that white stringy part is fascial tissue.
Right.
So if you do fascial release, some people do it pre and post workout. That's where your muscle tension builds up and like your soreness. And so it's kind of like, imagine like the plaque building up in your teeth. That's where you get like the decay and whatnot. Well, if you have all this buildup in your fascial tissue, then it's the same idea with your muscles. Your muscles get built up with all this like acid.
Lactic acid.
Lactic acid and soreness. And so you stay sore. That's, people on enough lactic acid, they get sick. So if you consistently do myofascial release, most people do it with a tennis ball. I actually have something that's a little more firm. It's a spry muscle therapy ball, I think that's what it's called. But it does wonders. I start off every one of my bar classes with fascial release on the feet, and then at the end we roll out our legs and our glutes, and it's a world of difference.
All right. Send the ghetto video to Blake so he can send it to me, please.
I will, yeah.
Hey, before we go, you guys, everybody who's watching, thanks for joining us. We had quite a few viewers, and if you will do us a huge favor and go to our PLEXYSTARS Facebook page and invite all your friends to join us, that would be awesome. I don't know if you've done that yet, Kim, but if you can do that, that'd be great. Thank you for being on with us.
Lovely. We'd love to have you on again, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Go make a whole bunch more videos and get them out to us, please.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you, Kim. You guys have a great evening.
Hey, everybody drink pink. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.